Okay, I'm going to. I don't generally review pedals per se. You know, years ago I did my pedal test, and a lot of guys have seen that. And if you have seen that and you subscribe to the channel, then you know that most of the times I'm playing Drumnetics magnetic-driven pedals. But I've been working with pedals the last few months, taking them apart right down to each individual piece to see what's going on, because playing a double pedal for me, which is why I got the offset pedal years ago to begin with when I saw the bilateral design. Most double pedals, your bass drum is kind of in front of you, slave off to the left, or reversed if you're left-footed instead of right-footed as far as dominant. And as you sit at the double pedal and you're playing your hi-hat, your torso is kind of twisted a little bit. And after 25 years of doing that, I just started developing discomfort in my back, in my knees. I could feel it in my knees. And then I came upon the offset double pedal, which is bilateral. It's basically a slave on each side and a center section that hooks up to the bass drum. Now in this case, once I found out about the Drumnetics, I said, can I magnetize my offset? And I can. I don't know if you can see that, I made magnet cartridges for it, for the bass. And I also made a magnet cartridge set up here on the center section that goes to the bass drum, little magnets. And I get a back and forth, no springs, it just goes back and forth. Although I guess I put a very, very light tension spring. You don't even feel this thing on the offset, but it works without the spring as well. I just wanted to see what it would be like if I had a really light tension spring on it. And then I have this, I have a double pedal that's like a student level pedal. And I got it just to use at a practice pad or whatever, just to have maybe if I was on the road for some reason, just take it with me and use it in a hotel room or something like that. And I took that pedal totally apart, took the footboards off, everything, and this is my center section. I've got two of them here, and I tried some different ideas to do this. I made round magnet cartridges that do the same thing on the axles. I cut the axle in half, so each one of these is on one post, and it's plenty sturdy. That was an experiment that I wanted to try, and you just cut the axle in half, and you can still do this whole gig. So you just hook it up to your bass drum, and now I've got everything is magnetized all the way around. And I use this as the original hex axle that pedals come with, and this has some Tama beaters on it that are infinitely rotatable. This one has some pearl beater holders on it that are infinitely rotatable, and the offset in the center section, the original one, it also comes with infinitely rotatable beater holders. And I'm going out and spending money on the extra parts or whatever. And I'm going to show you a pedal right here that the reason I'm doing this, I am astounded by this. This is going to bring the manufacturing industry to tears, man. Seriously. And here's why I say that. This is the Griffin pedal. Now, Griffin's a company. They've got a branch here in Tyler, Texas. I bought things from Griffin before, snare drum stand and some cymbal stands, I think, and I've got and they're student level stuff just to set up in your house. It's not roadworthy type stuff, but it all works, and it doesn't have the best features, and it's not the most rugged stuff that there is, but you set it up and you leave it, it's not going to fall down, it's not going to go anywhere. But the remote hi-hat, I was shocked when I got that. That's a beefy piece of equipment, and I just put some oil down the cable, and it functions pretty well. It's not as smooth as the pearls that I've got or others that I've had. I had a Tama when they were making them. But anyway, Griffin, this company, puts out lower end stuff, right? This pedal, good night in the morning. this pedal, it weighs in. It's not a piece of junk. It weighs in. I mean, it's just, you know, the basic foundation steel base plate, and then the you know, the molded white metal, pot metal type frame that so many pedals have. In this case, it's got a granulated kind of finish on it. It weighs in at a little over 4 pounds, and this the Drumnetic's about the same weight. Just because this one's a little bit bigger, the offset, it weighs in a little over 5 pounds, 5.5 pounds. It's a little heavy. Most pedals weigh in between 3 and 6 pounds that I've found. So the weight of this pedal is here. Now, you say, why? If you've got Drumnetics and offset, what are you doing with a Griffin pedal? Well, I'll tell you why. I got 3 of these pedals. And you say, you got 3 of them? Are you crazy? Oh, wait till I tell you. All right, so here's the third one. And I'm going to take, I've already taken apart one of them. And I wanted to see, they use the exact same bearings, all right, roller bearings as other pedals use that I've taken apart. Same roller bearings. And, you know, let me go through this thing and then I'm going to tell you what the price is, okay? And you're going to go, what? All right, so it comes with some hex key wrenches for tightening and loosening and readjusting things if you have to. It's got a universal. Let me start from the base, right? Let's start with the base. Okay, so you've got a steel base plate with some serrated rubber underneath. The base plate has some bent edges on the side for rigidity, as well as a couple of molded sections here. So the steel base plate, you know, it's plenty strong. It's got a lot of heft. It has a couple of spring-loaded rug spikes. It has a spring-loaded. This is basically a student line beginner's pedal, is how I would look at this. It has a spring-loaded tongue that clamps to the hoop, as well as some rubber both on the tongue and on the base plate for the hoop clamp to sit, so it's not marred in any way. And it has the offset hoop clamp. Now, on a standard, you know, you get just a loose tongue here. This is a side clamp on this student level pedal. Many student level pedals are like the Speed King. You have to reach underneath the footboard to, you know, tighten a wing screw to turn down the, you know, to tighten up the hoop clamp. So this one has a spring-loaded tongue, because you know when you go to put your pedal on your hoop, and if that tongue doesn't have that spring in it, it's just kind of flopping there, and you're trying to get it on. You got to lift the base. You're trying to get it. This is spring-loaded, so your hoop is going right in there, because that tongue is always up until you tighten it down. Great feature, just a great feature. Chain driven, felt lined channel for the chain, and like I said, I've taken this one apart because what I'm going to do is make a bilateral with a center section, because that's my favorite position, center of the bass drum, pedal on each side, and you know, and I've been messing around with different drive shafts. I'll show you in a second, but you have height adjustment because of your little whammy wheel here, whatever you want to call it, the axle adjustment. So you can adjust the height of the footboard. You loosen this up, you hold it in place, and you pull your footboard up as high as you want it, and then you readjust. Okay, this is a student line pedal, man. This has the wheel on the axle, and you loosen it up, and you've got universal tilting on the beater. The spring, normal springs, this is pretty hefty spring, all things considered. So it's not a cheap spring. And so you've got your little wheel here. There's a little block of metal that protects. You know, you don't want to put any notches inside your wheel here. This is rotating on. They have a little block of metal here that the screw goes down into, a little divot. I don't know if I have it here somewhere on this table. And protects it. And you've got 3 points. You've got the rocker assembly here, and then you've got another rocker assembly below it, and then the third one. This is a 3-point rocker assembly to make this as smooth as possible. This is a beginner's pedal. On the bottom here, well, man, this is the offset, right? It's a much more expensive pedal, and basically, you loosen your spring, tighten, loosen, whatever you want to do, right? And I like all my springs just about 5 rotations in. But this one has a better feature on it. Loosen the top, push it down, and this knurl, this has some teeth on it. So when you get it in the position you want, you let it go and those teeth lock. This is not going anywhere now. It can't loosen up from any kind of vibration or whatever. Then you tighten your top wheel again, and that's it. It's not going anywhere. Student line pedal, right? Like I said, it's got the offset clamp. I mean, I'm looking at this pedal, and I ended up here, this Griffin pedal, I ended up because Stag, the company that makes some cymbals, and I have several Stag cymbals, and they're good. They're good B20 cymbals, and they cost a lot less. Stag is a Chinese company, right, or Asian company somewhere. I guess Hong Kong or Taiwan, I'm not sure. But in looking at that Stag pedal, I just came upon a review on YouTube of the Stag pedal. So I went to eBay, see how much this thing costs. $70. Oh, but that's not what I paid for this pedal. Oh, no. This pedal is an exact duplicate of the Stag pedal. The only difference is, you see these 2 holes right here. I don't know if you can see them. There's 2 holes right here. And that's where a rubber thing goes that holds the drum key. The Griffin does not. You get a drum key and you get your hex keys, but you don't get that little rubber job that holds the drum key. Yeah, big deal, right? The drum keys end up all over the place anyway, which is why they make that little thing. And you can buy those if I wanted to buy one. I mean, I could just buy one that will probably assemble right in those 2 holes, and I could put the drum key in it because they make those. All right. Now, the pedal has some flaws. All right. How could you not expect a pedal at this price point to have some flaws? I don't know if you'll see this. Can you tell that felt is not exactly square across? It's kind of scooped. I don't know if that's by design. I doubt it, but this is a 4-point. Where's the beater? I had one here somewhere. Oh, here it is. This is a 4-point beater on a student level pedal, right? The 2 plastic, and you've got the round going this way or this way, and then 2 surfaces of felt doing the same thing. So it's a 4-point beater. And you get the universal adjustment for it on angle, universal angle adjustment. Now the only flaws that I've seen on the pedal, it has the exact same bearings that are used by everybody else using 22 millimeter bearings. It's the same bearings, and I've taken pedals apart for this very reason. So it's got the same bearings in it. It's got a chromed axle. It's got a couple of bearing rings in it. What do I do with those? I guess I put those in a bag because I'm not going to use them. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 bearings in each axle, and they don't cost much again on eBay. So I'm putting 2 bearings in each axle to get a little bit more stability on my center section when my axle piece comes through, and I don't want a lot of wobble like this. So I'm going to put another axle in there, and another bearing in there to catch the axle. I'm going to make a direct drive with a couple of Pearl direct drive links that will go on the axle. I'm going to change the footboard. I'm going to make my own footboard, and I'm going to make it longboard, no heel plate. Now, a couple of flaws that this pedal has, right? Of all the great things about this pedal, when I got the pedal, and it's easily adjustable, when I got the pedal, the chain was off a little bit, and so when you move the pedal, you could hear the chain making noise, and I could tell right away because I just put my finger. Can you see what my hand is doing? I put my finger. All you have to do if you want to know where noise is coming from with a chain drive, just put your finger on the chain and just push it in a little bit, and then make your motion, and you won't hear anything. But if it's not there, you hear noise. that's telling you something's out of line. So all I did was I took the beater holder and moved it over a little bit, and because the chain was not lined, the cam was not lined up when it was assembled, it was not perfectly lined up with the center of the pedal, the footboard. So I just moved the cam over, and that took all the chain noise out. Now when you're playing this, you could probably, I'm sure you can hear that. That's because the heel plate footboard assembly is loose. Well, I can adjust that by taking the pin out and just putting some different washers in here to take the space up a little more, so you won't even hear that going back and forth if you're someone that dances on the pedal, right? Here at the front, there's a little bit of space as well. Most of the space of the movement of the footboard is because of the back end. And if I dance on the pedal when I play, and so the pedal can, you know, it's one reason I don't like chain pedals, because I do dance on the pedal when I play, and you get the movement like that because the chain is just flapping there. So if you're playing just some, you know, typical single strokes, but when you're playing double or triple strokes and stuff, and you're kind of dancing on the pedal, movement is there. But you can take that, any space here, you can take that out with any number of materials, little bits of rubber, all kinds of ways you can just take that space out of there for no money at all. And same thing with the base plate. But I've come to like the longboard situation. This footboard is like 12 inches long. I think it's 12 inches long. So the whole footboard assembly is 12 inches long, even a little bit shorter than that. It's 11 3/4 long, whereas the footboard, unlike the Drumnetics, most pedals 13 inches, and this is the offset is 13 and a half, 3.5 inches wide. They advertise it as the biggest footboard out there, which I don't know if it is or not. Still, I guess it used to be, and I like that big footboard, so I'm going to make my own footboard for this, and it's going to be a long board with a direct link, and I'm going to magnetize the whole thing. And when I have a finished pedal, I'm going to take it to Germany, to the Kit Festival, and use it at the Kit Festival. I didn't want to take one of my favorite pedals there, so I thought if I could do this, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to take this pedal here, magnetize it, make it a bilateral design, and I'll be good to go. But aside from a little bit of chain movement and the heel movement, this pedal plays incredibly well. I mean, I've owned so many different pedals from all the companies, Yamaha, Tama, Pearl, DW, down through the years. I've owned pedals by so many different companies, as well as knockoff, just student line pedals and stuff. And this pedal plays incredibly well. I'm astounded. I bought 3 of these, so the price came down a little bit. $43.66. Free shipping. Are you kidding me? Seriously. This pedal, I'll tell you another thing this pedal has. One of the things that I found on Yamaha pedals, as well as the Offset uses it, is this stabilizer bar, which holds the 2 uprights in a more rigid position. I can feel that rigidity and structural foundation is there. I can feel it when I play. And the Yamaha had it, the Offset has it, this one has it. Most pedals don't, even top of the line pedals, don't have that stabilizer bar running between the 2 uprights, the 2 posts. This one does. This is an extra cast piece here, and it's fantastic to have that there. And you have that extra structural stability that you feel under your foot. Most don't have it. Even top of the line pedals don't have it. Now, of course, if you have a top of the line pedal that's just 1 post, there's nothing to join the 2 posts together. So they generally make that single post beefier itself for more rigidity and stability. Anyway, you get a 1-year warranty on this thing. $43.66 is what I paid for each one, because I got 3 of them, and I'm going to have 1, 2, and my center section hooked up with I've got beaters and stuff. I went out and got you could almost use a door hinge for that matter. I just was curious about these DW little hinges. And can you hear that? Tick, tick, tick. It makes a little bit of noise, but you won't hear it when I'm playing and once the thing is in place. But I got that to experiment with when I make my own footboard. I'm making a wooden footboard. I'm going to end up making an entire wooden pedal with just metal parts that are the mechanical parts that are moving parts. Otherwise, I'm going to make an entire wood pedal out of some exotic hardwood, and I want to see what that feels like, and I'm going to do that as well. But yeah, if you're in the market for a pedal to take on gigs or whatever, and come on, you pay $70 for the Stag pedal, or you can buy the Griffin. It's the exact same pedal, as near as I can tell. The exact same pedal, except for the drum key holder. And it's what is it? I think it's $46. I got 3 of them, so the price dropped a little bit. But if you buy a single, they make a double pedal too, obviously. And the double pedal has, as near as I can tell, all the exact same features, and it'll just have a standard drive shaft. All right. I've been experimenting with drive shafts. This is the offset drive shaft. Comes with a couple of typical. These are a little bit bigger than a lot of the universal joints that pedals come with, and he put some boots on it, dust boots. This is the head drive shaft, which I really like. Great price. It's got the universal joints are very big and chromed with an aluminum shaft. Obviously, I cut it down and redid it for having 2 short drive shafts on my slaves. So I redid that one, and that I like that one a lot. And then I've been I've already mentioned I've experimented with helical joints. Mike's Drumnetics started out with double pedal with helical joint drive shafts, which bend, and there's nothing movable. Once you lock them in place, that's it. The whole thing's move. And I've been experimenting with that. I found another one. This is another one I got. You'll notice some lines of silicone on there. It's got the thing kind of boing. It's 3 inches long, and then there's just a little tiny one on the other side. And I experimented with that, and this one's a little bit mushy when the contact is made. It works okay, and so I've been experimenting with different drive shafts and stuff like that to see what works best. And I've got stuff that I need. But anyway, the Griffin pedal. I think you pay $46 for this. You can buy the Stag for $70, $69.99 at Musician's Friend. All the different merchants are all selling it for the same price. This is the Griffin, and it is the exact same pedal as near as I can tell. If it's not the same pedal, put it in the comments and let me know. Otherwise, this is the exact same pedal as the Stag, made by the same company, I'm sure, in Asia. And $43.66 is what I paid, because I got 3 of them, so they dropped the price down. But still, $47, $47, I think, is what it is. Oh, good grief! Come on. I mean, this is going to make, this pedal has all the adjustments that you need. All right, if you want double chain drive, and you've got a felt line channel in the cam, you've got universal beater angle, you've got footboard height, you've got a 3-point connector on a very nice hefty spring, you've got the toothed nut here that's not going anywhere once it's in place. You've got the offset spring-loaded tongue on the hoop clamp, spring-loaded rug spikes, and you've got some serrated rubber on the bottom of a nice hefty steel base plate. Come on. And that's the reason I'm doing this. I'm not an endorser for the company, but I find something like this, and I just want people to know about this because this is astounding. If you need a pedal to take out on a gig or something, or you're just going to jam with some folks and you don't want to take your set apart, and you have maybe a second drum set that you take out for that kind of purpose, and you need a pedal for that kind of gig, this is the one to get. I'm really amazed. So aside from the couple of flaws here, the noise at the heel plate, some people don't even care about that. Everybody knows John Bonham played his Speed King, right? But it's a virtually silent pedal in its motion, and the motion is good. For expansion springs, I'm into magnets. That's where I'm at. There's just something about the feel of magnets and the repulsion of magnets than the expansion springs pulling things back into place. I'd rather have the magnets, magnet repulsion pushing things back. And you can get repulsion springs as well in some pedals, like the Trick uses repulsion springs. And I think D-Drum or Mapex Falcon, I don't know, one of them, another one out there uses repulsion springs. But the expansion spring, if you're, most pedal out there, or all 98% of them are expansion springs, this is an amazing pedal. So check this thing out. There's the Stag version. There's a YouTube review that a guy does on the, I guess he's a Stag endorser, and he's got a review on the pedal, and I'm telling you, the thing, it's amazing, right? So yeah, the Griffin single pedal, also double pedal, and it's got all the features that you could need. There are obviously other adjustment features that pedals have, top of the line pedals that cost how much more than $45? I mean, I'm going to get and I have to add some parts so it raises the price. But at a base price, if I just wanted to use it all as spring driven, there's another thing that's here. This spring, if I wanted to, and you want to extend the axle out, you could make it a double spring pedal because they've got the molded part of the footboard assembly. They've got another place for a spring to go here. So you could just get the spring assembly, and you can buy hex rod if you want it, and just you run it through. You'd have to file it down. I've learned how to take bar stock, any bar stock, put it in a drill, and take a file, and just take material off, and I can take a half-inch bar down to the 8 millimeters that most of these bearings fit on, 8 millimeters. Flattened surfaces for screws to touch. I'm telling you, when you get into do-it-yourself, there is so much you can do when you start taking things apart and you see exactly how things are made. So anyway, I just wanted to tell you about this Griffin pedal. You need a second or a first pedal. This is a pro pedal. I don't, except for the movement here at the heel plate, I don't see how this is not a professional line pedal. I would call this a student beginner's line pedal in intent as far as price, but in function, this thing is doing what pro pedals do. It's giving you all the essentials of adjustments. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So it's the Griffin. Does it have the Griffin, it's just a P200. Amazing. Anyway, thanks for watching.